Hey Spooky Boo! If you don't know me, my name is Annabelle, but you could call me Boo or Boo Bell. And today I'm doing a little vampire look to go teach at a dance studio. So if you want to look spooky like this, oh my god, no, okay, ignore that one. I mean like this, then just stay tuned. Just so you guys know, I had about 20 minutes to do this makeup look, and I only used 4 eyeshadows, but honestly, you could just use 3. First things first, get your hair out of your face, and I do have my eyebrows on, but they're not even. They never are. We could worry about that later. Definitely a beauty hack here. In order for me to achieve a precise, quick look, I always use tape. I place it on the back of my hand to avoid it being so sticky that it's tugging on the side of my eye, hence avoiding wrinkles. When you're getting ready to place your tape, you want to make sure you're relaxing your face instead of raising your eyebrows, because if you raise your eyebrows, it is going to mess up the natural shape of your eye. You want to follow along that natural curve of the bottom water line, and just pretend that if that line were longer, where would it go? And you want the tape to make sure it is extending past the edge of your eyebrow if your eyebrow were to keep going down. For primer, I used a 24-hour MAC concealer. That's not what I actually wanted to use. I usually use a foundation, but I couldn't find it, so I had to stick with this. A concealer is going to dry a lot quicker, so it's not usually my go-to, but you definitely need some type of primer, whether it is actual eyeshadow primer, concealer, foundation. Use something. It's going to help your eyeshadow stay longer, and it's going to help those colors pop. Obviously, this video is sped up, but I am trying to move as quickly as possible to make sure I get an even spread of that concealer before it starts drying. And you can see here that I am trying to shape my brows. That's why I wasn't so worried about them being uneven, even though I'm not the best at making even brows. I can tell that there's this part of my eye that did not have enough concealer, so I just did one little dab and spread it out. I do want that basically to go all the way towards my nose and past that tape. When I'm getting close to the tape, I am trying to hold it down so that it doesn't unstick, because if it does, it kind of defeats the purpose of using the tape to get that crisp straight line. If it starts unsticking, my makeup will go under it, and I'm gonna need a makeup wipe anyways to clean it up. So just try your best to hold it down without really tugging. Once I felt like I had even coverage of that concealer, using the brush, I went in with a beauty sponge to get rid of any harsh lines I may have made with that brush. And it kind of also makes sure that all of the concealer is evenly as wet or dry. Then I did notice that my tape on this side was just a little bit lower. Again, you can see I relaxed my face and just moved it up a little bit. I'm using the Morphe and James Charles palette because it gives me the 2 reds, the Rusted and You're Kidding. You don't need 2 reds. You can just try to blend out one. This is a brush that I'm going in with. It's very thick and it is angled. The reason why I like to use it is, especially if I'm going fast, it takes up so much space on my eye. I really don't have to go in too many times. I tap in the eyeshadow and then I tap it around where I want that color. And once I get the pigment I want is when I start going in circular motions or windshield wiper motions, just to blend it up towards my brow a little bit. If you're just using 1 red, you can still achieve the same look. Just try to get most of that pigment closer to your crease and blend up towards your brow, using less and less pressure on your brush as you're going higher. And if you do have it a lot darker in your crease and a lot lighter towards your brow, it actually will look like you used 2 different shades. Get close to your brow, but don't make the color connect to your brow. This brush is from the Jeffree Star and Morphe collection. It's actually kind of pointed. You can't really tell because it has such light bristles, but this is what I like to use for my crease. As you can tell, I'm going in with that true red that is called You're Kidding. And I do try to look forward while I'm doing this, because a lot of my eyeshadow hides in that crease if I just have a relaxed face. And I want to make sure that that red is actually popping out instead of hiding, and you can only see it when I look down. I feel like this is a very common mistake because we do our eyeshadow while we're looking down or with one eye closed. And honestly, that just assures that your eyeshadow is going to look really good. You're going to be popping when you have your eyes closed or when you blink. But what about when you're just in regular conversation with someone? You want those colors to pop out as well. Starting to form that cat eye, I use the tape. I basically trace it until it's right underneath the end of my brow, and then I connect that point to the crease. So it's kind of like a triangle shape on the outside of your eye. This packer brush is what I'm going in for with the black. I believe it's called Spooky. It is also in the James Charles palette. Again, you could use whatever black you want. As you can tell, I'm really not trying to get a pigmented black for a few reasons. I feel like the lighter it is, the easier it is to blend in with that red. So I did want to have kind of like a smoked out black. If you have a dark gray, you could use that too. I also felt like it was going to take me a lot longer to get a true black, so I just stuck to a smoked out look. I didn't have much time. Again, it was about 20 minutes. I'm going in with a very small angled brush because it's going to help me get a precise line. And basically you want to do this as if you were doing your eyeliner. I'm going about halfway to where I did with the red, and where I'm stopping in the black on that tape, I'm going to connect it to the top of my lid, which is where my black ends. And again, you're trying to get that triangle look on the outer edge. I'm gonna go back in to get a darker black, but basically that angled brush helped me make a trace of what shape I wanted. This time I went in with a blending brush, so it has longer bristles and it's not gonna hold too much pigment. The point of it was basically just to join the outer corner that I just created to the lid. But then since I had a few bald spots, pretty much, like I said, black is not an easy look to achieve, I went back in with the packer brush, specifically on the spots that I felt needed a little bit more love, and then blended them out towards the rest of the eyelid. Now to try to join that red and black, I went back in with that crease brush that I used for the true red, and I did the slightest little tap on the black because the brush still had a little bit of that red eyeshadow on it. And then going right into the line that separates both the colors, that's exactly where I'm pressing down on this brush to help smudge that line a little bit. Once I felt like it was blended enough, I did start my eyeliner, and my best advice for this is to always start out really thin. Follow the line of the tape, and as close to your lashes as you can get, do that, because as you start making mistakes, if you press a little bit harder, the line is going to naturally just get thicker. So I prefer to start thin and then make it thicker as I go along. This pen I definitely love. I use it so much you can't read the name on it. So it is the Maybelline Master Precise All Day Matte Black. Finally, I get to take off of the tape, and I feel like it's my favorite part because you get to see the shape that you actually created. And whatever fallout you got, just wipe it away with a makeup wipe. I'm not putting on much on my face, and this is also why I like to do my eyes first, because anything that might have fallen out, if I had makeup on already, I'd be wiping everything away with that makeup wipe. I'm just using a little bit of concealer here, and this one is Maybelline as well. It is the Instant Age Rewind Eraser, and what I love about it is that it actually helps cover the darkness I have under my eyes, so it kind of works as a color correct for me as well. Again, I'm not wearing too much makeup because I am going to go teach a dance class, so I'm probably going to sweat, and there's really no need for me to have a full face of makeup. So adding some concealer basically just helps me add a little bit of more paleness to my skin, and as a vampire, it's exactly what I want. I did dab this brush into a makeup wipe, and what that's doing is wetting the brush a little bit to help it pick up that pigment. This is the orangey red, and you can actually blend it down a lot further than I'm doing, but I, again, didn't have much time. I was just trying to add a few finishing touches, and you could just use a blending brush for this. I'm then going to use a more precise, like very small brush for the deeper red. Here it is. And I'm basically going to run that right over that lash line, so as close as possible to the waterline. And then following through to the end of where my eyeliner stops. You can even blend it into the red that is above the black. Anyways, what I didn't record was I then decided to put some red lip liner on my waterline as an eyeliner, and I feel like it just helped make the color pop a little bit more. Although you don't see it here, I think it shows in the finished look that I'm going to show you a little bit later. I'm going in with this rounded tip brush. I tried to freeze it because I was going so fast, but I'm going in with this very metallic silvery color, And last minute, it just popped into my head that would look really good as a highlight on my inner corner. And it did. I felt like it's exactly what I needed to complete my eyes, but you could use any other highlight. The red lips just wasn't cutting it for me, so I decided to go with this kind of dark brown. It is Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink. I can't tell you enough how much these liquid lips will go on and not budge. I've worn them all day. I've worn them to go to dinners, eat, drink, everything. They don't transfer, they don't move. And I actually have to press a makeup wipe on it and leave it on there for a second before I start rubbing it to take it off. They do get on my teeth, so make sure you check your teeth before you go out. Always finish with some setting spray and you're ready to slay, girl. Yes. All right, so this is when I came back from dance. I wanted to show you how it looks after 2 hours of dancing and after eating dinner. You can tell that I added 2 little drops of blood near my mouth with the lip liner. I added a little bit of red in the middle of my lips and contoured just a bit. Here I made my fiance videotape me and I did scare him doing that. Here's the look under fluorescent lights. I feel like the darker it is, the better it looks. That's all, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad you're here and I hope you're here to stay.
It's recording.
Oh.